Well, it was too hard for me to call and make the reservations, so I went to the shuttle bus where a man was standing, and I said to him, "Tell me, where are you staying tonight?" "And is the hotel close to the airport?" Well, you know, I'm an older woman. I don't think this is a big deal. But anyway, he was very kind, and he used his cell phone, and he made reservations for me. And I was very happy about that. And so then we got on the shuttle to the hotel. And then pretty soon, I figured out he had inferred other things. He said, "What kind of wine do you like? And would you be interested in dinner tonight?" Well, that was the last time I traveled by myself, except for when I come to Omaha. Even simple trips to the grocery store can cause major challenges. The first time I went to the grocery store, which was many months later, I decided to use the self-scanning machine. I was fine until I had to put in the code number for an avocado, because there was no price tag. The assistant came over to help me, and he said, "You need to punch in the avocado identification number. The number is 4379. She then waited for me to do this, but I couldn't. And finally, I reluctantly told her that I had had a stroke, and this activity was really hard. She then adjusted her speech and said, "Oh, I see. I will help you." She then bagged the rest of my groceries and offered to take the groceries out to the car. Well, as best I could, I politely thanked her and declined her offer. But wouldn't you know, she followed me out the door anyway. I'm pretty sure she thought I was going to keel over in the parking lot. What is my reflection? You know, people are always very happy to help you, but they're very unsure about how to act around others that they perceive as handicapped or challenged. A friend of mine is mentally challenged, and she says the rest of the world considers her disabled. Her support group says actually the rest of the world suffers from TAB disease. That is, for the moment, they are temporarily abled. I can now attest to this, and it's interesting now to be one of those who is disabled. Well, reading was the first skill to come back, and the first book I read was Dr. Seuss' ABC book. Big L, little Lola Lop. Left leg, lazy lion, licks a lollipop. It took me a year to be able to say it. Thank you. There was something about the word lollipop I could never get. Well, anyway, one Saturday morning, I picked up a Time magazine. Not being able to read was the hardest part. And I picked up this Time magazine, and in 3 hours, I was able to read it from cover to cover. However, afterwards, I was so exhausted, I went to bed for a week. And then I realized that in order to get my reading up to where it was supposed to be, I had to keep reading. So then I started reading anything that was easy or trashy. I remember going into the Omaha airport, and I walked into the bookstore, and there was Princess Diana's Butler's Story. Can't remember the name of the book, but anyway, I remember I got the book and I put it under my coat because I didn't want anybody to know, but it was really fun. Well, then one day I decided to upgrade my reading, and I bought a Pulitzer Prize winning book. I was 20 pages into that book when I realized I had absolutely no idea what I was reading. The sentences were too long, and I lost my way before I finished them. What is my reflection? I remembered Bob. Bob was a 12-year-old and the largest sixth-grade student that I ever taught. Bob had tremendous difficulty in school and could only read out of a second-grade book. After experiencing my stroke, I now view Bob's struggles in a much different light than I did back then. Today, I would teach him with more empathy and patience, and I would encourage him to keep practicing his words until those neural pathways became developed. Well, writing has been a skill to recover. Physically, I can write words, but I lost all my prepositions and all my pronouns. Have you ever tried to write a sentence without one? It's pretty hard. And again, I had to practice writing them every day for 21 days. And even now, I still have to ask somebody, how do you spell your, or for, or to? Prior to the stroke, they talked about the book Emergenetics, and I had signed a contract with HarperCollins to produce the book Emergenetics. It was supposed to be published 10 months after my stroke. So my son took a semester off of law school to help me finish it. And it was, in fact, published at the beginning of 2006. 2,000, some of you in this room, asked for an autographed copy of this book, which was wonderful because I thought, oh, this will make the bestseller list. And I agreed to autograph this book and mail it off to each person by February 1st. That was the hardest thing I think I've ever done in my life. The ability to multitask is very difficult. Being at a restaurant with background information is unnerving. And even now, I have to concentrate on driving and speaking it to my passengers at the same time. In order to write, I have to be in a room where there's no extraneous noise and absolutely zero distraction. In order to create this environment, then, I went to my office each weekend to autograph these books. I cried through the whole process. And then on the following Monday, I would need someone in my office to proofread what I had written in case I'd made a mistake. However, the ordeal paid off. 2 months later, I suddenly was able to write sentences again. And in fact, last Christmas, I sent out holiday cards with notes on most of them, and it's the first time I've been able to do that in 4 years. What is my reflection? You know, I probably could have gone through the rest of my life without writing sentences again. And there were many times that I seriously considered it. The book, however, forced me to align the neural pathways so I could put sentences down on paper that made sense.